My boyfriend tried to educate me on the way over about some guy who said something insulting to a female sports announcer.
Cam Newton, pretty popular quarterback, said he got a question from a beat reporter that works for his team and asked him something about a wide receiver's route running. And he said it's surprising that a girl is asking about route running or something like that. And he got a lot of shit about it right now. He got a drop from a sponsor. And it's also going on further now.
Is that all he said? It's surprising that a girl.
I believe so. And then I heard that they went further into it off the record a little bit, and he was rude, is what she said.
Oh,
so
okay.
But okay, we really expect the quarterback to be the height of, politeness and social etiquette. And okay, he shouldn't have said this. And I think that there are some incredible women who are sports announcers, so I'm told by the boyfriend. And I think it's sexy to be a knowledgeable woman in sports. However, we now prosecute everybody for everything. And the reason we do that is there's too much media. Everybody's got a microphone. Everyone's on Twitter. Right. So now this stuff, the dumb stuff people would have said in another era that would have just gone off into the ether. Now it's a news story.
Do you think it's that, or is it, I'm sure it is that, but isn't it also that we're examining behavior on a much more intense scale than we've ever done before, and we see things that we don't like, and we're highlighting those things in a much more aggressive way than we've ever done before. It's almost like there's accelerating social evolution that's going on right now, and along the way you're getting a lot of bumps and a lot of weird stuff that's happening, a lot of social justice warrior stuff, and then you got a lot of alt-right stuff on the other side, and they're battling it out with each other, and it's almost like these intense extremes on this new landscape, and people are jockeying for positioning on this new cultural standard playing field.
Well, I think what's happened is that now everyone has a microphone. Mm-hmm. So everyone's on Twitter. Everyone can make a tweet that put out a tweet that gets tweeted and retweeted to 4 million people. And so people are looking to have standing, and they're doing it by putting out their opinions. And they also, when you're saying this about these tribes, they do it to signal, look, I'm part of this tribe. Yes. I'm a social justice warrior. I'm on the right. I'm Antifa. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's a big part of it. So they're looking for criminal behavior, socially criminal behavior. And whereas, this guy, do I really expect every quarterback to have the most PC views? No. And okay, he's going to lose his sponsorship when he says something like this. But if you open the quarterback can, you're going to see quarterback stuff in there. And it's not, the Emily Post.
Well, first of all, with quarterbacks and with any football players, you're dealing with head trauma. You are 100% dealing with head trauma. There is an extremely high likelihood that all those guys on the playing field have erratic behavior due to the fact their head's been smashed 150 fucking times a year since they were a kid. And that is just a fact. There's no getting around that.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that we're starting to see people look at that and bring that out. So parents know, do you want your son to play football or to play some other sport?
Yeah, look, I have kids, and I wouldn't want my kids to fight, even though I'm a commentator in fighting.
Right.
I just think, God, if you really want to do it, I'll support them in anything they really want to do. But I would tell them, it's just the upside and the downside. If you can get out, some guys get out, like Floyd Mayweather. He's just a brilliant tactician and incredibly good defensively, and he got out relatively unscathed. But you really won't know how unscathed until 10, 15 years from now when you see him struggling with his words.
Right.
It's just not worth it. Life is short, but it's long if you're fucked up.
Oh, absolutely. And you see that from these guys. I read some story about that the other day. I'm trying to think, who is the guy? So sad. And this thing about it showing up much later where you get terribly mentally ill. People, they make those trade-offs where they think, okay, well, I can get money and fame this way and it's quick and everything like that. But they don't really realize what the long-term consequences will be.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people when they got into football, and even people that got into fighting, they didn't know as much back then when they first entered this sort of journey.
Yeah.
Especially football. There was no conversation about that. Think about the OJ trial. I've been kind of on this OJ kick lately because I started watching that Cuba Gooding Jr. series where they sort of, reenact.
Right.
And it's really kind of freaking me out. It's bringing back the memories of the 90s and what it was like when that thing went down, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we were sitting in front of the television, holding hands, and like waiting for the verdict. And when they said not guilty, she threw her hands on her face like she had just seen a horrible car accident. She's like, "Oh my God, oh my God," and she kept saying, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," and now today they're saying the very doctor that was working with OJ said if they were going to do that case again today, they would absolutely bring up CTE.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Absolutely. And there's so many football players who got in just not knowing who will come out like that, I think, within a number of years.
Yeah, that was only 20 years ago, 23 years ago, whatever it
Yeah.
was. That's not that long ago.
No.
So 23 years ago, nobody thought about brain trauma when it
Yeah,
came to football,
right.
which is just
Right.
nuts. Like, how's that
Yeah.
possible? And now these guys are debilitated. There's a whole bunch of different lawsuits that are going on right now with the NFL, and you're seeing these older players. I mean, they have on Real Sports at Bryant Gumbel, and they're sitting there and they're shaking and they can't control themselves. And you're like, wow, well, this is unheard of 20 years ago, 30 years ago. We never even thought of this. This was never in the public discourse.
Yeah, and I suspect if you go back and look at those tapes sort of forensically, that you'll see that kind of thing, the
Yeah.
shaking, and also that if you look at take a look at over football players, how many people have these diseases and mental illness that's related to this head trauma.
Yeah, I'm sure quite a bit. But I mean, this football player guy that we're talking about, Cam Newton, what? The only thing that's wrong with, I mean, it's not even wrong. I mean, he's trying to get sponsors. That's the whole deal.
Yeah.
And if you're, whatever, Coca-Cola or whatever the company is, you don't want someone representing you that does something like that.
No.
And so it's sort of normal.
Yeah. Well, it's normal that they say, okay, we're dumping you,
Yeah.
and it's normal that he would say it. But what's always funny is that these companies, they profess surprise when it's like, really?
Yeah.
You thought that this person was going to be this sort of curtailed, reined-in person. It's like with Kathy Griffin. Oh, you just figured out that she says offensive things?
Yeah.
That was a surprise to you?
Well, it wasn't. I mean, with her, it was just like so poorly thought out. It's like, what's the message there? You're holding up a bloody head? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you want to hold up the bloody head of some murderous dictator who's, killed a bunch of people, then I kind of understand. But even then, like, are you ISIS? Like, what's this message?
Right. Well, I think she didn't think it out, and it was just, okay,
Right.
outrage.
She's trying to be shocking.
Trying to be shocking, and then the sort of the fake apology, and then,
Right.
okay, take it back.
Well, it was the fake apology, and then it was like, he's a bully, and he broke me, and like,
Oh,
what?
come on.
Like, they're playing the
Really?
victim card.
Yeah.
It's
You're
like-
a comedian,
Yeah.
And I know comedians have like that. You know what? Someone's going to heckle you on. And so you have stuff ready for that. And this thing like where she's all like, poor me.
Well, it's
please.
just my career's over. I don't have a career now. It's like, oh, all right. Just take a couple months off. You'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
Relax.
People forget there's some
Yeah.
new outrage.
Well, there's always going to be. There's always gonna be some new crazy fucking thing. And there's also going to be a bunch of people that are probably excited that you did that, too.
Yeah.
And they'll calm down after a while. It won't be in the news anymore. And, yeah, it's just we live in a time where everything is hyper-examined.
Yeah. It is. And so that's standard. And that's why I think we have to be more lenient with people. This idea that you say something awful and then you're excommunicated, you lose your job, you're going to be living in a dumpster. This is really wrong. We need to understand that to be human is to be an asshole. We're all assholes. We all say shitty things to people. And I try to recognize my assholishness and apologize when I've been awful and make good. If sometimes you have to put some money into making good. It's what the situation calls for.